We're going to pick up and restart the Three-Barrel Cove Wilderness Run. Try to get the named staff and leather armor. It takes about 5 minutes or so per run. The drop rate's really low. We only get 8 chances total at it, and the odds of us getting an item at all is really low. But the items are so good, particularly the staff, that it's worth a shot at the 8, and then I'll probably try it again. And then if I don't get it, I might try it several times to prep for next life, as I'm leaning towards using this build again next life. Next run, I'll kind of walk through a little slower some of the visuals to look for when you're trying to make this run. All right, if he was there, he'd be visible from that spot. So I'm just going to keep on galloping away, and we'll be able to outrun all these kobolds. They'll stop sign or stop their path and continue back to their starting spot before they ever reach us. That's just to save time when they're not there. The leather armor is nice. It's 6 damage reduction to for piercing and slashing, so that's pretty significant at this level. The quarterstaff has an improved critical range. It's just a very nice quarterstaff. Hopefully we'll get one of them, but the odds of getting even one are low. Just from past runs, I'm guessing the drop rate is maybe 1%. He's not there. I'm just going to try to recall. Hope my sneak skill is good enough to recall. All right. So that was about a 3 minute, run, 3.5 minutes or so. So we'll reset the instance, go back in. I'm just going to park the hireling in place because I think he actually generates a lot of aggro on his own without me. So hopefully this will be better. All right, he's there. This boss isn't so bad. The other one, Brian, hits pretty hard. So, I mean, I'm level 4 running level 5 wilderness, but it's on normal difficulty. But it's always seemed like the wilderness is maybe just a notch up from a regular normal quest. So you can see the hit points, not a lot, but he's taking longer to beat down than by far the level 2 quest on hard. So it's a good preview of Elite. I think Elite they'll probably even hit a little harder than this. All right, let's see if there's some luck. Nope. And so I'm going to loot, and then I'm going to just loot again. And what that does is if I'm on ransack, it'll give me a message saying I've looted this chest too often. So that'll let me know there's no point coming back for another run. And that's mainly because I've sort of lost count. I don't think I'm kind of yet at that number, but or close to ransack. I'm at least a few runs away, but I want to just start checking to make sure I don't make a run for nothing. Last run, which I may or may not post up. I think there's any wilderness run is really just a good sample of it. But I received a small Eberron Dragon Shard fragment. That's the first time I've received it here on this character account. It's a pretty rare item. I got it from one of those blue collectible bags. A lot of times I don't pick those up because I always get the same collectibles, and they're ones I have tons of usually. But I was picking them up, and I got that small Eberron Dragon Shard fragment, and that was kind of a nice unexpected surprise. Those allow you to trade in for some nice unique items. There's a trade-in vendor. When I get 3, I'll do that at some point. All right, I'm here. What I'm gonna try to do is just fight these two guys and hopefully get my hireling to not aggro stuff. Have them stand in place, and I'm just gonna sneak over here and see if Brian is here. He is. All right, so that's good. I know I could see him from this position, so I'll unsneak and bring my hireling over here, and um, he's done quite a bit of damage to me, but not, more than level 2 hard enemies did, but and let's see if I could. He's orange name, so let's see if I could trip him. No, not strong enough. So that wasn't too bad. All right, so let's go down, get these treasure bags, see if I get lucky again. All right, so the expectation is getting nothing because that's usually what you'll get from these, but the hope is to get the named chieftain spear, which is a. All right, I'm just clicking on the chest, so no ransack message, so I'm good. And I'm just going to rinse and repeat this until I'm on ransack. All right, reset. And that run took a little over 6 minutes because I had fought both bosses, so it's a little longer when I get the bosses. And I think I have around 3 to 4 loots of each chest left. So, whoops. So seeing as how I'm not getting them every run, it could take, maybe 40 minutes to an hour to do this run. And if I don't get the item, I won't be disappointed. I sort of know kind of going into it that it's a very, very rare item. if I do get it, I'll be extremely happy. It's a very, especially the staff is a very powerful weapon. And I'm sort of on the fence about, do I want to be a staff build or do I want to be a greatsword build? The staff build has a little more commitment because it requires an extra feat. Greatsword gets the same critical range without that feat. In fact, it's actually better because improved critical doubles it. But uh, if I get this staff, I'll use the staff build for at least for several levels. All right, no Cobalt leader, so we'll just ignore these guys and keep going. All right, I'm just gonna summon my hire, have him stand in place here while I sneak over and take a look. And no name guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and just recall out. Doesn't seem like anything else is aggroed on us. So that's not unusual that, I don't have any exact number, but from experience, if I had to guess, I would say it's around 1 per 3 runs, maybe. All right, not there again, so I'm gonna just gallop on. All right, he's there. So let's. He gets hamstring on me just about every time in this fight. All right, no named item and no ransack, so we have at least another run left. Just keep him parked at the beginning until we get to a spot where we need him. All right, Brian is there. So bring over the hire and see if I could sort of aggro these guys a little. Yeah, it's just a quick tidbit on this guy. He uses a piercing weapon. He hits pretty hard for the level, and so this spear block reduces 4 of it. Definitely worthwhile. All right, now the loot. All right, no loot. That's to be expected, or no name loot. All right, we're gonna recall out. Just wanted to check if I was on ransack. I should have at least a few more runs of this. And I'm going to try to do a better job of explaining the way here on this run as well. Uh, First, reset the wilderness so we don't get the same scene as before, same empty chest. All right, I'll bring my hireling in, hop on the horse. I'm going to park my hireling here by just putting on this thing to make him stay there. And then we go right past this guide. He will transport you to quests you've already run. We follow this path along. When we get to this uh, crow nest, make a right, and again we're kind of heading towards that area, and just follow the path along. It's fairly linear. You don't get a choice of where you go until a little bit later. And you can see the Lady Luck right now, and that's pretty much where we're headed to. So I just follow the path. There's only one path over the waterfall, and you do have to be a little careful because there's like it narrows here, and there's a little spot there you could fall. And so then I just jump down here, and then right before that kind of rock formation on the right, I follow this path here. And then there's Cobalt Village. And then I try to position myself along that little cliff here, and then ride the beach. And then if I get closer to I like to stay on this beach because otherwise I aggro the whole building. And if I kind of cut over here, I don't aggro them. Okay, you can see how quickly they aggro once you get near. I mean, they're like I'm way over here and they're still aggroed. But we'll go ahead and clear these guys out, and the boss is here, and we'll get another shot at that. Um, haven't kept track, but I believe I've had more instances of this boss than the other by like one or maybe two. So I expect to be on ransack on this quest before the other. I'm gonna get these other guys that are easier to kill and kind of do a lot of damage, or can do a lot of damage. Oop, I didn't quite kill that guy. All right. All right. No named items. Again, sort of as expected. It's a very low drop rate here. Oh, my inventory's full. Let me see what I could do about that. All right. See if I have any. Looks like my collectible bag is full. Let me. Oh yeah. So we're gonna have to get a bigger collectible bag this level. That's taking up a lot of space. All right. So let me try to find. This is worth 15 plat. So let me get rid of this. thing, or actually probably this wand is worth less. Nope, I'm going to get rid of this thing. And then I'm just going to drag these arrows over and get rid of them. See if I could. Oh, no, there's nothing else to go in the. I thought I saw some arrows. All right, well, let me bring this, at least get my thing, and we'll just, unless there's anything here real valuable. They would stack, so I think I see some here. So I think if I do these, nope. All right, well, I guess this is going, whatever it is. Let's see if this one is there. Nope. So we're gonna have to get a bigger gem bag and a bigger collectible bag. So just delete those, take my horse and run, and then I'll sell after. I'll sell after this. Yeah, inventory is always an issue. It's an issue if you're free to play. It's still an issue if you're VIP or premium. Uh, yeah, the key thing there is just to keep what you need, make use of the storage, cheap storage options you have. And I think the key thing is just getting rid of things you really don't need, not hanging on to every little thing. The fortunate thing is I do have a collectible 12 spots in the collectible bank. So that means that the one thing that I can do is transfer. Let me bring him over here. All right, I'm just going to sneak, tell this guy to stay there. Um, and there's no brine, so I'm just going to recall, sell, and then finish off these runs. My nice quarterstaff had some damage, permanent damage to it. That's unfortunate. Well, this is pretty cool. It's a docent, but Magna Surge Guard, which looks like it's the, I guess that's the Magmatic, is the Magma Surge Guard and the Fire Absorb, but I'm going to assume that there's probably not a huge interest in that and just get rid of it. No really great named items that I've seen so far. Let me sell the gems. That'll clear some space. And this and this. All right. Well, that'll clear quite a bit of space. And what are we up to plat-wise? So we've earned 3,700 from the two, pretty close to it. We were near zero. I filled up on potions, and so we've earned near 3,700 from these runs. And as soon as I get to 10,000 plat, or more like 8,500 roughly, I'm gonna purchase a medium-sized gem bag and a medium-sized collectible bag. It looks like the collectible bag is going to be my priority right now because I'm overflowing. I'm gonna have to park him here and head out. Can't remember if I checked to see if the chest was on ransack. I think I'm probably okay for at least another run or two on that chest though, so I'll be sure to check it this next time because this could be my last run. Um, I'm thinking that that first run I did was only like three or four loots of brine and maybe five of the cobalt. But I wasn't keeping track, so it's just an estimate. All right, let's see if we have them or not. I do not see them. All right, he's there. That's good news. So let me bring over the cleric, unsneak. Sometimes you could avoid a little damage by just sort of circling around the enemy. All right, grab this bag. All right, no named items, nothing really interesting here. And we're not a ransack, so we have at least another run of that. Attempt at that 1% chance to get that item. All right, I'm going to once again just kind of walk through the path, just because I don't know if I'm going to post the first video since it's kind of repetitive. Just running running for these two bosses and not getting it. But basically, you head towards the guide. It's a singular path. You don't go right. Follow it along. When you come around here, you just to this little building. You hang a right. Crow's Nest. And it's just a singular path. It's basically you just as long as you don't fall off, it should be pretty straightforward. And we're heading towards the Lady Luck, which we should see as we get to this high spot here. And there it is. So we're heading past the waterfall to Lady Luck, and we're going to cross over right to the left of that. So again, just kind of follow the path across the waterfall. Be a little careful across the waterfall, especially this spot right there. If you do fall down, you can see it's not too bad to get back up. I usually, instead of going up this way, I usually just go down. There's a couple enemies up there that will activate if I go up there. So that's why I go down. And then I just make a right at the path, just past the Lady Luck. You can see the Cobalt Village. You want to kind of follow the coastline. You want to come right up to the corner of where the coastline turns and follow it. And that's just because there's mobs in the middle on both sides, and you kind of aggro as little as possible by doing that. Kind of follow roughly along the shoreline. It's not even. Then make a right, and he's there. So we'll stop, bring the hireling, and kind of get behind this rock in case there's any casters. You can see their stuff's just missing me because I'm behind that rock. All right, I'm gonna get these shamans first. Yeah, there's a lot of collectibles we haven't seen before because we're running at a higher level, and I think uh, once you get to this level, there's like an upgraded tier. Like I think the lower levels are tier one, and this is like tier two or group two collectibles, so they're slightly different. That's why our bag's all of a sudden overflowing. But we'll get a bigger bag. We're already at there. It is. So I'm going to put this on right away. It's the Cobalt Admiral's uniform. The last character that tried to get both these items got this one and not the other one. But at least I got one, and you can see it gives axe block 6, spear block 6, so that'll reduce the damage we take a little bit, and that's very helpful. I mean, it's not the end of the world if we don't get it. We have this spear block, axe blocks combo we can go between. But I'm going to go ahead and loot this, and I like that better than the armor I'm wearing, so I'm going to go ahead and just put that on right now. And that also frees up my bracer spot since the bracer spot uh, has an item that's redundant, not only redundant, but worse than what I have. So I can immediately replace that bracer spot. So that was very nice. I didn't expect to get one. The odds of getting two are really, really slim, but getting one was very nice. This one might be a little more common than the other because, as I mentioned, I've run this one before and never, it seems like it popped up quicker than the other, but it's hard to say. I'm just going to park him over here. Hopefully, if he starts taking damage, I'll just summon him to wherever I am. But yeah, if I get both the staff and the armor, that would be a very successful wilderness run. But just getting one just makes my day. That's a really nice item. 6 less damage, and that's there's a attribute called invulnerability that's 5 less damage of all types, including bludgeoning. So basically, it's all three types. But and that's a pretty nice item. But I believe it's only non-magical damage. So the enemies start to get magical damage, around level 4, 5, 6. You start to see that more. So that item becomes less useful. Whereas this item is useful for a couple levels beyond that. And 6 is not a small number. I mean, that's a pretty decent amount of damage it's reducing per hit. Well, Apparently, I'm not a very good sneaker. I sort of knew that. We didn't put ranks to sneak, but sometimes when you sneak, they don't have a really good spot. It doesn't matter. It still works. So that's why I tried it, and it's been successful other times, just not this one. All right. Well, that kind of re-energizes me because I'm, feeling good now. I have one item and would love to get the second. So what we're going to do now is skip the cobalt area. We're going to pass through it because it's just uh, there's two alternate ways there. One is involves a lot of swimming, which is slow, and the other involves going through a pirate camp, which at this level is a little time consuming. We could try the run through it approach, just like we're doing here, but at this level, if we get stopped, we're probably dead. So, oh, I forgot to bring my hirelings. So that's why I'm taking the scenic path, and it's really not that much longer. I think uh, maybe takes a minute long, half a minute longer at the most. All right, I'm going to park him here, and I'm going to take the path. And again, I'll try to show you to the other one. So we take a right at this building here, Crow's Nest. Follow the path, take care not to fall down. But again, it's a pretty linear path. Once you've done it once, it'll be pretty clear. And we're headed kind of towards that direction. You can see where the water goes into the waterfall. We're going just past that waterfall. Right as we get around this corner, I think we'll get a clear view again. And there's the Lady Luck, the lucky boat that got stranded there from a hurricane. We're going to go just past that and turn to the right. All right, and so just past Lady Luck here, we're going to take a right. There's a shrine to your left, and then to the right, there's this path. We're going to follow this path, and really, you're just sort of following the path because it's the other one dead ends. Make a left, which again is really the only path, and then at the corner of this, where this little cliff area is, you want to come down. Actually, you probably could just ride on the shore now because we're not gonna stop at this other one. We already have the uniform. We're not going to make a second stop. And we're just going to go right to Brine and hope we repeat our luck with this armor and get it. All right, we just kept following the coastline. We never deviated from following that coastline, sort of Planet of the Apes style, but without the Statue of Liberty. All right, I'm pretty sure this guy's going to see me. Hmm. Nope, I don't think Brian is here. I do not see Brian, so we'll just recall and keep trying. One thing that I'll mention with these named items is some of the named items have a very low drop rate in this game. These are among the worst at low levels. At high levels, there's some with even a little bit worse of a drop rate. Don't think of it more of as a marathon versus a sprint. And so we have 8 tries to get this item. We may or may not get it. We have one. We may not get the other. Probably odds are very strong we won't. But if we don't, no big deal. Think of it more of a marathon. Think of the long term. Oop, I forgot to bring out my hireling once again. think of it really like a marathon. And so if you don't get the item, it doesn't necessarily have to be that you stop. Okay, I didn't get the item. I tried 8 times, and by the time I'm off ransack, I might be past the level where I want the item. So that might be true, but in this case, I'm planning this build again next life. So, nothing to say in a week when I'm level, 8 and 9, and maybe I'm looking towards a better level or a better weapon at a higher level. I could still farm this 8 times, and I could just keep doing that till I get it. It doesn't take very long. It's kind of a fun thing to do, and eventually I'll get it. And then when I start off next life, I'll have it, and I won't have to really worry about farming it then. So, and remember, I'm level 4 right now. This is level 5 content. So if you farm it at level 7 and 8, it's going to be easier. Even level 20, 25, 30, whenever you have to farm it, it's just going to get easier. And uh, you know, 1 in 100 odds sounds pretty bad, but if you just keep doing this, 3-minute run times, I don't know, 15 or whatever a week, to get this chest, because it'll be a lot quicker since you don't have to do this one. This run here to the Cobalt camp is a lot of the time. Um, well, you'll certainly uh, good odds to hit it, by the time you get to 30. And that's the way you should look at it, not I only get 8 chances and it's 1 in 100 chance to get the item. Look at it as if I want the item for next life, what's the best way to get it? And that's just to be persistent and once a week stick it on your DDO calendar or whatever, make a little DDO calendar or something, and then just run that. It's really easy. If you get kind of bored of it, take a break from it for a little while, and then just get back to it maybe, you know, in a few weeks. And then if you don't get it in TR, just keep trying. It's not a big deal. It's not like you can't complete content without these items. Each of these items just gives you a little bit more, power to complete content, and the staff, in all honesty, is probably a little better than the armor. But I like the armor, so I figure if I'm trying for one, might as well try for the other. But still, without that weapon, I'm gonna still complete content fine, and it's no big deal. All right, looks like I aggroed everything again, and I do not see brine. Let me just get back to full before we recall out. And that's okay. I mean, it's going to seem it's about 1 in 3. Again, that's not anything factual or scientific. It's just more my benchmark guess of how often he spawns. It's about 1 in 3 instances. All right, so I am going to reset, go back in. This time I'm going to remember my hireling. Horse. Incidentally about the drop rate, the drop rates are usually better than this. I I think it's a little low for a low level quest. I think it shouldn't be that hard to get something, but I think you always have people that I think that complains the game is too easy. People that have been playing for 15 years complain the game's too easy, and I got all my items after a week, and so you hear that, and the devs hear that, and so they lower the drop rates, and that's what I think happened with Three Barrel Cove. Is there's a lot of that type of talk, and they lower the drop rates, but I honestly think that this is a low level area. People aren't going to be using these weapons for a long time. It's not like somebody that's sticking at 30 and staying there. I think the drop rate should be better, but I don't think it's a big deal either. I just sort of have always taken the approach of just not complaining about it much. Sometimes I do, I guess, but I just live with whatever the devs give us, and I think they've done a good job with the game. You can never get everything perfect to make everybody happy, but I think on balance they've done a really, really good job with this game. Once you try out DDO as a free-to-play player, I hope continue either as a free-to-play player, or if you have a little extra money and you want to purchase some of the benefits of being VIP, then that would be great too. So whatever fits within your budget, but certainly the purpose of this video series is to prove that even if you even if you're free to play, you could really be successful in this game and have a lot of fun in this game. No Brian, so we will rinse, recall, and repeat. All right, I'll remember to summon my Hurling first before getting on my horse this time. And we're getting awful close to 400 Slayer, but we probably won't get it unless we just really keep coming up dry on the on brine runs. We're getting about, I don't know, 3 or 4, sometimes as many as 10 per run. But if not, we'll get to this wilderness. We'll be running a lot of quests here, so we'll certainly get to 400 and probably even 750 Slayer at some point in this wilderness. And the XP is not super fantastic from Slayers, but and we really don't need it. But if we do get it, it'll give us at least an action boost, another action point probably, or close to it. Well, that's about 4 runs in a row with no brine, so hopefully we'll get one this time. We're definitely due. Um, yeah, I guess it's possible my 1 and 3 is even a little bit light, but I think it is about 1 and 3. Just, whoops, my recall didn't take. Yeah, I'm sneaking. My move silently and hide skills are no ranks. I think around zero, maybe even negative. But the thing is if their spot skill is bad, it doesn't matter. Like, it just matters whether they're able to spot me, and with they have a better chance of spotting me with a low move silently and hide, but it doesn't mean that they will if they have a bad spot skill. Nope, I did it again. I got on my horse right away instead of summoning my hireling. Yeah, I mean, you could see what a difference that 6 damage reduction is making. I'm like hardly taking any damage now, except when they hit a critical. So one thing I need to probably do is get some fortification. I don't think I have a fortification item now. That would help against the criticals. I think I might have taken some acid damage there too. Um, yeah, acid damage. So, but yeah, I mean, 6 damage at this level is quite a bit, and we're going to go run and be running level twos, still. And so to have this 6 damage reduction at level 2 is just enormous for running level twos. I saw Brian when I peeked over, so that's good news. We have Brian. So Brian hit me for 22 on a crit and 2 on a non-crit. So that tells me I really, really, really want to get fortification. Fortification will reduce the chance of getting critical hits. So it looks like, I mean, that's a huge difference in damage there that I was getting. So I'm gonna look and see what kind of turn-ins I could do. All right, nothing again. And you have ransacked this chest often. So at this point, there's no point in me coming back and trying to get it. We didn't get it, no big deal. I'm gonna probably try again in a week. Uh, I may or may not, may or may not be as impactful in a week, but I'll probably just keep trying. And by next life, it'd be great if I have a level four, if that level four staff, because it's a very nice staff. But in the meantime, I think we're gonna do just fine with what we have here. All right, well that's it for our rebuild Cove run. That was a little over an hour. We had at least one item out of it.